They say the moment you meet your fated mate, the world stops spinning. That everything clicks into place like the final piece of a puzzle you didn't even know you were solving. They say it's magic, destiny, the universe finally making sense. They lied. Because when Alara Stone looked into the ice-blue eyes of CEO Alpha Cade Thornwood for the first time, the world didn't stop. It shattered. And in the weeks that followed, before he would reject her in front of his entire board of directors, before her life would crumble into dust, he couldn't get enough of her. He was obsessed, addicted, consumed. This is the story of what happened before the rejection, before the betrayal that would tear them apart, before she discovered the truth that would change everything. And if you're wondering whether she survives what's coming, well, you'll have to stay until the end to find out. Hit that subscribe button right now for the Alpha's Romance Library, because you're about to experience a love story so devastating, so raw, you won't be able to look away. Trust me. You need to hear what happens next. The elevator doors opened with a soft chime that felt too cheerful for how Alara's stomach was twisting. She'd been unemployed for 3 months. Her landlord was threatening eviction. Her wolf had been restless, pacing inside her mind like a caged animal desperate for freedom. This job, executive assistant to the CEO of Thornwood Industries, was her last shot. The reception area screamed power and money. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city like a kingdom spread out below. Everything was chrome and glass and cold perfection. The receptionist barely glanced up. "Miss Stone, he's ready for you. Top floor. Don't keep him waiting." The warning in her tone made Alara's pulse quicken. Another elevator, another climb, and then the doors opened directly into his office. That's when it hit her. The scent. Pine and winter rain and something wild and untamed that made her wolf surge forward so violently she gasped. Her knees went weak. The mate bond snapped into place like a lightning strike. Electric, undeniable, devastating. And standing behind the massive desk, bathed in golden afternoon light, was him. Cade Thornwood, Alpha of the Thornwood Pack, billionaire CEO, and according to every gossip magazine in the city, the most ruthless businessman in the country. 6'4" of pure dominance. Sharp jaw. Dark hair pushed back carelessly. A tailored suit that probably cost more than her rent. But it was his eyes that stopped her heart. Pale blue, almost silver, and in that moment, they were glowing faintly gold. He'd felt it too. The bond. For 3 seconds, neither of them moved. The air between them crackled with recognition, with ancient magic neither could control. Then his expression shifted. Not into joy or wonder like the stories promised. Into hunger. "Close the door, Miss Stone." His voice was gravel and silk and command. Her body obeyed before her brain caught up, turning to push the heavy door shut with trembling hands. When she turned back around, he'd moved. Impossibly fast. Suddenly he was only inches away, towering over her, his scent wrapping around her like a physical thing. "You feel it?" Not a question. A statement. His eyes roamed her face like he was memorizing every detail. The bond. Yes. Her voice came out breathless. Wrong. She was supposed to be professional, composed. But how could anyone be composed when their fated mate was looking at them like he wanted to devour them whole? His hand lifted, and she thought he might touch her face. Instead, his fingers curled into a fist and dropped. "We need to discuss something before we talk about the job." His jaw clenched. "What I'm about to tell you cannot leave this room." "I have a problem, Miss Stone." Cade moved back to his desk, putting distance between them like he didn't trust himself too close. "My board of directors is demanding I take a chosen mate. They believe a lone alpha makes poor business decisions, shows weakness, They've given me 6 months to make it official with someone. Or they'll force my hand with their candidate. Alara's heart sank even as her wolf growled in protest. You already have someone chosen. Had, past tense. His eyes locked onto hers again. That changed the second you walked through my door. The words hung between them, heavy with implication. The board's candidate is Vivian Ashcroft, daughter of my father's former business partner. She's... He paused, choosing words carefully. Ambitious, calculating, and completely wrong. So what does this have to do with me? But she already knew. Could feel it in the way his wolf was calling to hers, in the tension radiating off him in waves. I want to hire you as my executive assistant, but I also need you to pretend to be my chosen mate. In public, at events, in front of the board. He rounded the desk, closing the distance again. Just for 6 months, until the pressure is off. Then we can figure out what this actually is between us. You want to fake a relationship. Her voice was flat. With your actual fated mate. I know how it sounds. He exhaled roughly, running a hand through his hair. But I can't just claim you to the board. Not yet. They'd tear you apart investigating your background, your pack status. They'd see you as a threat, a nobody trying to social climb. They'd destroy you before we even had a chance. The worst part? He wasn't wrong. Alara came from nothing. A small pack that dissolved 5 years ago. No status, no connections, no power. And if I say no? Something dangerous flickered in his eyes. Then Vivian wins. She becomes Luna of my pack and CEO's wife within 6 months. And I'll spend the rest of my life wondering what could have been with the woman fate chose for me. The manipulation was obvious. The desperation underneath it was real. What's in it for me? She needed to think practically, even though her wolf was screaming yes, yes, yes just to be near him. $200,000. The job pays well, but I'll give you a bonus when the 6 months are up. Enough to start over anywhere you want. He moved closer again, and this time his hand did rise to her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone with devastating gentleness. And in the meantime, we get to explore this. The bond. What it means. What we could be. Without the pressure of my world crushing down on us immediately. His touch sent electricity racing through her entire body. The mate bond singing in approval. This was insane. Reckless. Probably the worst decision she could make. I need 24 hours to think about it. You have 12. His hand dropped. Vivian is hosting a charity gala tomorrow night. If you're in, you'll be there. On my arm. As mine. As mine. The possessiveness in those 2 words nearly buckled her knees. 12 hours, she whispered. His smile was sharp and beautiful and utterly devastating. Don't make me wait too long, Alara. I'm not a patient man. She couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw him. Felt his touch like a ghost on her skin. Her wolf was pacing relentlessly, whining with need. The mate bond was worse than she'd imagined. It wasn't just attraction. It was compulsion. Every instinct screamed at her to go back to him, to submit, to claim, to complete what fate had started. But accepting his deal meant lying. Playing pretend with something sacred. Could she really fake a relationship with the one person she was biologically designed to love? Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Unknown. Number. Are you awake? Her heart stopped. Alara. Who is this? Unknown. You know who. I can't stop thinking about you. Cade. Her fingers trembled as she typed back. Alara. You're not supposed to contact me until I give you an answer. Cade. I know. I'm breaking my own rules. Can I see you? This was dangerous. Stupid. She should say no. Alara. My address is... She hit send before she could stop herself. 20 minutes later, there was a knock on her door. When she opened it, Cade Thornwood stood in her hallway in jeans and a black t-shirt looking nothing like the CEO and everything like the alpha male her wolf recognized. "Can I come in?" She stepped aside wordlessly. The apartment was tiny, barely bigger than his office, but he didn't seem to notice or care. His eyes were locked on her, wearing sleep shorts and an oversized t-shirt, hair messy, no makeup, completely vulnerable. "I shouldn't be here," he said roughly. "Then why are you?" "Because the bond is driving me insane." He stepped closer. "Because I've been alpha of my pack for 8 years and CEO for 5, and I've never lost control of anything in my life. Until you walked into my office and I suddenly couldn't think straight." "Cade, let me finish." Another step. They were inches apart now. "I meant what I said about protecting you from the board, about giving us time, but I need you to know something else." "What?" His hand cupped her face, tilting her chin up to meet his burning gaze. "When I said I couldn't stop thinking about you, I meant I can't eat, can't work, can't function. Every part of me is screaming to claim you right now, to mark you, to make you mine in every way that matters. And it's taking every ounce of control I have not to do exactly that." Her breath caught. "The 6 months isn't just about the board," he continued, voice dropping to gravel. "It's about giving you a choice. Because once I claim you for real, once I mark you as my mate, there's no going back. You'll be bound to me, to my pack, to my world, forever. What if I want that?" The words escaped before she could stop them. His eyes flashed gold. "Don't say things you don't mean, Alara." "I'm not." She reached up, fingers touching his jaw. "I felt the bond too, remember? I'm just as affected as you are." For a moment, she thought he might kiss her, claim her right there in her tiny apartment. Instead, he stepped back, breaking contact like it physically hurt. "Then say yes tomorrow. Come to the gala. Let me show you my world." His voice was rough. "And we'll figure out the rest together." He turned to leave. "Cade?" He paused at the door. "I've already decided. The answer is yes." The smile that broke across his face was pure sunshine. Devastating. "Then get some sleep, little wolf. Tomorrow, you become mine." The door closed behind him, leaving her alone with a racing heart and the absolute certainty that she'd just agreed to something that would either save her or destroy her completely. A team of stylists descended on Alara at 2 p.m. sharp. Hair, makeup, wardrobe. Everything was orchestrated with military precision. She sat in Cade's penthouse, a space so luxurious it made her dizzy, while strangers transformed her. "Mr. Thornwood left specific instructions," the lead stylist explained, holding up a midnight blue gown that probably cost more than Alara had made in a year. "He wants you to look like yourself. Just elevated." The dress fit like it was made for her body. Probably because it was. She'd been measured and scanned that morning by people who moved too efficiently to question. When they finally let her see herself in the mirror, Alara barely recognized her reflection. The gown hugged every curve before flowing into an elegant train. Her dark hair was styled in loose waves, makeup subtle but perfect. She looked like she belonged in Cade's world. She looked like a Luna. "He's going to lose his mind when he sees you," one of the stylists murmured with a knowing smile. Right on cue, the penthouse door opened. Cade walked in mid-conversation on his phone, not looking up. "Tell Marcus I don't care what the contractors say. We need that site finished by..." He looked up. The phone dropped from his hand. For 5 full seconds, he just stared. His eyes went from blue to molten gold and back again. Wolf clearly fighting for dominance. "Everyone out," he said roughly, not breaking eye contact with Alara. The stylists scattered. The door clicked shut. And then he was moving, crossing the room in 3 long strides until he stood directly in front of her. "You're stunning." His voice was barely controlled. Absolutely devastating. "The dress was your choice," she managed. "The dress is just fabric." His hand lifted to her face, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear with devastating gentleness. "You're what's beautiful." The mate bond thrummed between them, pulling tight. "We need to go over the rules for tonight," he said, but made no move to step away. "Vivian will be there. She'll try to provoke you, to make you look weak or out of place. Don't engage. Stay close to me. Let me handle her." "I can handle myself." His smile was sharp. "I know you can. But tonight isn't about proving anything to her. It's about showing the board that we're solid, united, inevitable. So what do? We play the part. I keep you close. We look completely obsessed with each other, which..." His thumb traced her bottom lip. "Shouldn't be difficult since I actually am obsessed with you." Her breath hitched. "And Alara?" His voice dropped. "When we're in public, I need you to trust me. Let me touch you, guide you, claim you in the subtle ways that matter to wolves. Can you do that?" She nodded, not trusting her voice. "Good." He stepped back reluctantly. "Because once we walk through those doors tonight, you're mine. And I protect what's mine with everything I have." The mansion was obscene in its wealth. Crystal chandeliers the size of cars. Marble everything. A string quartet playing while servers in crisp uniforms circulated with champagne and hors d'oeuvres that probably had names Alara couldn't pronounce. Every person in the room screamed power and money and status, and they were all staring at her. Cade's hand was firm on the small of her back as they entered, possessive and grounding. "Breathe," he murmured against her ear. "You belong here. With me." They're all staring. "Because you're breathtaking. Let them stare." A couple approached, older, clearly wealthy, assessing her with sharp eyes. "Cade, we didn't expect to see you with... company." The woman's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Margaret? Thomas?" Cade's voice was smooth, professional. "Allow me to introduce Alara Stone, my date for the evening." Date. Not girlfriend, not mate. Just... date. "Charming," Margaret said in a tone that meant the opposite. "And what do you do, Miss Stone?" "I'm Cade's new executive assistant." Alara kept her voice steady. "How... convenient." The woman's meaning was clear. "You're sleeping your way up." Cade's hand tightened on her back, a warning. To them, not her. "Alara graduated top of her class in business management," he said coolly. "She's brilliant, efficient, and exactly what I need, in every capacity." The double meaning wasn't subtle. The older couple exchanged glances and moved on. "That's going to happen all night," Cade warned quietly. "They'll try to make you feel small. Less than. Don't let them. I'm tougher than I look." His smile was proud. "I know you are, little wolf." They moved through the crowd, Cade introducing her to board members, business partners, pack allies. Each conversation was a test she hadn't studied for. And then she felt it. A spike of hostile energy so strong her wolf bristled. Vivian Ashcroft. She was beautiful in the way diamonds are beautiful. Cold, hard, flawless. Blonde hair in a perfect updo. A red gown that screamed, "Look at me." And eyes that promised murder when they landed on Alara. Cade. Her voice was sugar over poison. "I see you brought... a guest." Vivian. Cade's tone was neutral, but his body shifted slightly, putting himself between them. "This is Alara, my date." "How unexpected." Vivian's smile was all teeth. I thought we had an understanding. We had a business arrangement your father proposed. I never agreed to it. I see. Those calculating eyes raked over Alara from head to toe. And where did you find this one? She doesn't look like she's from any pack I recognize. That's because you run in limited circles, Vivian. Cade's voice had gone dangerous. Shall we move on? I believe your father wanted to speak with me about the merger. Actually, Vivian stepped closer to Alara, ignoring Cade completely. I'd love to get to know your little pet, girl to girl. Why don't we grab drinks while the men talk business? It was a trap, obviously. But Alara nodded anyway. I'd love to. Cade's jaw clenched, but he couldn't refuse without causing a scene. 5 minutes, he told Vivian sharply. Then to Alara, softer. Don't let her bait you. The two women walked toward the bar, tension crackling between them. This was about to get very, very interesting. Vivian led her outside to a stone balcony overlooking gardens lit by fairy lights. Beautiful and isolated. The second the door closed, Vivian's facade dropped. Let's skip the pleasantries. She turned, all false sweetness gone. You're nobody. A little Omega playing dress up in a world that will chew you up and spit you out. So I'll make this simple. How much? Excuse me? How much money do you want to walk away? 50,000? 100? Name your price and disappear before you embarrass yourself further. Alara felt her wolf rise, protective and angry. I'm not for sale. Everything's for sale, sweetheart. You just haven't found your price yet. Vivian stepped closer. Do you really think Cade cares about you? He's using you. A pretty distraction to irritate the board and buy himself time. But when the novelty wears off, and it will, he'll come back to someone appropriate. Someone from his world. Someone like me. If he wanted you, he'd be with you. The slap came out of nowhere. Alara's head snapped to the side, cheek stinging, shock rendering her momentarily frozen. You have no idea what you've walked into, Vivian hissed. This isn't some fairy tale. Cade Thornwood is a Wolfpack alpha and a billionaire CEO. The pressure on him is enormous. His board wants him mated to strengthen alliances. His pack expects a Luna with power and connections. What do you bring to the table? Nothing. Alara touched her burning cheek, feeling something inside her shift. Harden. You're right. I don't come from money or status. Her voice was calm, deadly. But I'm his fated mate, and no amount of scheming or manipulation will change what fate decided. Vivian's eyes widened. You're lying. Am I? Ask yourself why he can't stay away from me. Why he looks at me like I'm the only person in the room. Why his wolf recognizes mine. That's impossible. The Thornwood Alpha line is destined for... For what? Someone you decided? Fate doesn't care about your plans, Vivian. The other woman's face twisted with rage. If you think a mate bond protects you, you're more naive than I thought. Bonds can be rejected, ignored, broken, and when Cade realizes what a liability you are, he'll do exactly that. Then I guess we'll see, won't we? The balcony door burst open. Cade stood there, eyes blazing gold, taking in the scene instantly. Alara's red cheek, Vivian's defensive stance. What the hell happened? His voice was barely human. Nothing, Alara said quickly, moving toward him. Just girl talk. But Cade wasn't looking at her. He was staring at Vivian with such intensity, such rage, the other woman actually took a step back. If you ever lay a hand on her again, mate bond politics be damned. I will destroy you and everything your family has built. Are we clear? Cade, I didn't... Are we clear? Yes. Vivian's voice was small. Get out of my sight. She fled. The second they were alone, Cade's hands were on Alara's face, tilting her head to examine her cheek with a gentleness that contradicted the fury still rolling off him in waves. "Are you okay? Did she hurt you anywhere else?" "I'm fine. It was just..." "Just what?" "She struck you. My mate." His thumb brushed over the red mark with devastating care. "Do you have any idea how close my wolf came to losing control just now? Cade, I shouldn't have let you go off with her alone. I knew better. I didn't think even she would be that bold." "Hey." Alara grabbed his wrists, making him meet her eyes. "I handled it. And more importantly, she knows about the bond now." His expression shifted. "You told her?" "I didn't have to. She figured it out. And now she knows exactly what she's up against." For a moment, Cade just stared at her. Then, slowly, a smile curved his lips, proud and possessive and completely devastating. "You're magnificent, you know that?" "I'm learning." He pulled her close, forehead resting against hers. "We're leaving. Now. Before I do something I'll regret in front of the board." "Like what?" "Like mark you right here on this balcony to make sure everyone knows exactly who you belong to." Her breath caught. "Would that be so bad?" His eyes flashed gold. "Alara, I'm serious. Maybe we should stop pretending. Tell the board the truth about the mate bond and let them deal with it. They'll tear you apart. Let them try." She placed her hand over his heart. "I'm stronger than I look, remember? And I'm tired of hiding what this is between us." For a long moment, he just looked at her, warring with himself. With duty and desire and the overwhelming need to protect her from his world. Finally, he exhaled roughly. 1 month. Give me 1 month to prepare the board, to secure your position, to make sure they can't touch you. Then we go public with everything. As real mates. No more pretending." 1 month, she agreed. "And in the meantime..." His hand slid into her hair, tilting her face up. "I'm going to make damn sure everyone in that ballroom knows you're mine, even if I can't say it out loud yet." "How?" His smile was pure sin. "You'll see." The shift in Cade's behavior was immediate and unmistakable. He kept her pressed against his side as they moved through the ballroom. His hand never left her. Waist, lower back, shoulder. Constant contact. Constant claim. When they danced, he held her so close there was no space between their bodies. His face buried in her neck, breathing her in deeply enough that anyone watching would know exactly what he was doing. Scenting her. Marking her with his presence in the way wolves understood. "Every alpha in this room can tell what I'm doing," he murmured against her ear as they swayed. "They know I'm claiming you." "Good." Her hands slid up his chest. "Let them know." His growl was barely audible, but she felt it rumble through his chest. "You're playing with fire, little wolf. Maybe I want to burn." His hand tightened on her waist, pulling her impossibly closer. "Keep talking like that and I'll have you out of here and in my bed before the night is over." "Promises, promises." The song ended. The board chairman approached with his wife, clearly intending to introduce themselves properly. "Cade, a moment." "Not now. Richard." Cade didn't even look at him, eyes locked on Alara. "I'm busy." The dismissal was stunning. The board chairman sputtered but retreated. "That was rude," Alara whispered, fighting a smile. "I don't care." His thumb traced patterns on her hip. "Every second I have to spend making small talk with these people is a second I'm not touching you. Not acceptable. We're supposed to be schmoozing, networking. We're supposed to be selling a relationship. And right now, I'm selling the hell out of how obsessed I am with you, which isn't difficult, since it's completely true." Heat flooded through her. They danced 3 more songs, refused all attempts at conversation, existed in a bubble of just them. Until finally, Cade leaned down and whispered, "Get your coat. We're leaving. The gala isn't over. I don't care. If I have to stand here one more minute watching other males look at you, watch Vivian plot your downfall, watch my board assess you like you're up for auction, I'm going to lose it. So we're leaving. Now." There was no room for argument in his tone. They collected her coat, made polite excuses, and were in Cade's car within minutes. The second the door closed, sealing them in the privacy of his back seat, the tension exploded. "Come here," he growled. Alara moved without thinking, straddling his lap in the confined space. His hands gripped her hips, dragging her against him. "You have no idea how hard tonight was," he said roughly, face buried in her neck again. Pretending to be casual when every instinct was screaming to claim you, to mark you. To make absolutely certain no one could ever question who you belong to. "Cade." Her fingers tangled in his hair. "1 month is too long. I don't know if I can wait 1 month to make you mine completely." "Then don't." He pulled back to look at her, eyes blazing. "You don't know what you're asking." "I know exactly what I'm asking. I want this. Want you. Want the bond completed." "Alara, stop protecting me from your world and let me in. Let me be yours. Really yours." For a moment she thought he might give in. Might say yes right there in the back of his car. Instead, he kissed her. Deep and desperate and claiming. Like he was drowning and she was air. His hands everywhere. Her body responding with a need that terrified her. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, his voice was wrecked. 2 weeks. I'll move up the timeline. 2 weeks to secure everything. Then I'm marking you and claiming you in front of my entire pack, and there won't be a damn thing anyone can do about it. 2 weeks, she agreed breathlessly. And in the meantime, his smile was wicked. I'm going to make every minute count. Working as Cade's executive assistant while being his fated mate was exquisite torture. Every day started the same. She'd arrive at the office, impeccably dressed and professional. He'd look up from his desk with those ice-blue eyes that always flashed gold when they landed on her. The bond would pull tight between them, and somehow, they'd have to function like normal people. "Coffee," he'd say. A command that sounded like a plea. She'd bring it to him, their fingers brushing during the handoff. Every touch electric. Meetings were worse. She'd sit beside him taking notes while his hand would find her thigh under the table. Possessive. Claiming. While he negotiated million-dollar deals like nothing unusual was happening. "You're distracting," she whispered once during a particularly boring conference call. "Good," he whispered back. "You've been distracting me since the moment we met. Only fair." The board noticed the change. How he looked at her. Touched her. Protected her. Marcus, his CFO, finally asked outright, "What's going on with you and your assistant?" "That's personal." "Cade, if you're involved with an employee, I'm involved with my fated mate." The words came out hard. Final. "Any questions?" Silence. "Good. Meeting adjourned." Word spread fast. By the end of the day, everyone knew, and that's when things started to go wrong. Anonymous complaints about favoritism, rumors that she was manipulating him, whispers that she wasn't fit to be the Luna of such a powerful pack. Vivian's work, obviously, but effective. The board called an emergency meeting. Demanded Cade address the situation properly, or face a vote of no confidence. "They're forcing my hand," Cade told her that night in his office, both of them staying late. "Either I formalize our relationship now, announce the mating bond, make you my Luna officially, or they'll vote me out and install someone else as CEO. Then we do it, make the announcement. It's not that simple." He ran a hand through his hair in frustration. There's protocol, pack ceremony, board approval. it could take weeks to organize properly. Or we skip the protocol. He looked at her sharply. What? Mark me tonight. Complete the bond. Then tomorrow we tell everyone it's done. They can't undo a completed mating bond, no matter what they want. That's incredibly reckless. I know. She moved closer, placing her hand over his heart. But I'm tired of waiting. Tired of letting them control when we get to be together. This is our choice, Cade. Not theirs. His eyes searched hers. You're sure? Because once I mark you, there's no going back. You'll be mine forever. Bound to me. To my pack. To everything that comes with it. I've been yours since the moment the bond snapped into place. Making it official is just a formality. Something shifted in his expression. The careful control he'd been maintaining for 2 weeks cracked. Then we do this my way. Tonight. But not here. He grabbed his phone, typing rapidly. My cabin. In the mountains. Private. Safe. Just us. Now? Right now. Before I lose my nerve or someone tries to stop us. Within an hour, they were driving into the mountains, the city falling away behind them. The cabin was beautiful in its simplicity. Wood and stone and massive windows overlooking wilderness. Completely isolated. Perfect. Cade built a fire while Alara stood at the window, watching snow begin to fall. Second thoughts? He asked quietly, coming up behind her. Never. His arms wrapped around her waist, pulling her back against his chest. Once we do this, my wolf will never let you go. You understand that? Yes. And you're okay with it? With being tied to me? Forever? She turned in his arms, looking up at him. I was made for you, Cade. Fate doesn't make mistakes. His kiss was gentle at first, reverent, then deeper, more desperate. They moved to the bed without breaking contact. Clothes fell away slowly, carefully. His hands worshipped every inch of her like she was something precious. Tell me you're sure, he breathed against her skin. One more time. I'm sure. Mark me. Make me yours. His eyes flashed pure gold. Wolf fully present now. Mine, he growled against her throat. Forever mine. When his teeth sank into the curve where her neck met her shoulder, the world exploded into pure sensation. The mate bond, which had been pulling at them for weeks, suddenly snapped fully into place. Complete. Unbreakable. Alara gasped as she felt everything, his emotions flooding into her, his wolf recognizing hers. The connection so deep and profound it rewrote something fundamental in her soul. I can feel you, she breathed. Everything. Your thoughts, your feelings, I know. His voice was rough with emotion. I feel you too. Gods, Alara, you're magnificent. He pulled back enough to look at the mark, his claiming bite already healing into a beautiful silver scar that would be visible to any wolf who looked at her. Perfect, he murmured. You're perfect. Then he kissed her again, and the rest of the night blurred into touches and whispers, and the overwhelming rightness of two souls finally united the way they were always meant to be. When dawn broke through the windows, they lay tangled together. The fire burned down to embers. Alara traced patterns on his chest, feeling his heartbeat steady and strong under her palm. Through the bond, she could sense his contentment, his peace, his absolute certainty that this was right. What happens now? She asked quietly. Now? He pressed a kiss to her hair. Now we go back to the city and tell my board and my pack that their Luna has been chosen, that the bond is complete, and that anyone who has a problem with it can take it up with me directly. They're going to lose their minds. Probably. His smile was sharp. But there's nothing they can do about it. A completed mate bond is sacred. Even the board can't override it. What about Vivienne? His expression darkened. She'll try something. She always does. But she can't touch you now. You're under my protection as my mate. My Luna. Anyone who threatens you threatens the entire pack. Alara sat up, suddenly serious. Cade, I need you to understand something. I'm not going to be a passive Luna who just smiles and looks pretty at events. If I'm doing this, if I'm taking on this role, I'm doing it fully. That means having a voice, making decisions, being an actual partner, not just a trophy. Instead of looking offended, he grinned. You think I'd want anything less? Alara, I didn't choose you in spite of your strength. I chose you because of it. My pack needs a Luna who's fierce and smart and won't back down. You're exactly that. Even though I come from nothing? You don't come from nothing. You come from yourself. Everything you've built, everything you've survived, you did that alone. That makes you stronger than half the wolves in my pack who were handed everything. He cupped her face. You're going to be an incredible Luna. And I can't wait to watch you prove everyone wrong who doubted you. The trust in his voice, in his eyes, in the bond between them. It was overwhelming. I love you, she whispered. The first time either of them had said it. His eyes widened, then softened. I love you too. From the moment you walked into my office. Probably before that. Fate knew before we did. They stayed in the cabin until noon, wrapped in each other and the bond and the quiet certainty that they'd just changed everything. Walking into the office as Cade's marked mate felt different. Every wolf they passed could see it. The silver scar on her neck, partially visible despite her professional blouse. The way Cade's scent clung to her. The completed bond evident in how they moved together. The reactions varied. Some looked pleased, others shocked. A few outright hostile. But it was done. Irreversible. Mr. Thornwood. His assistant, the senior one who handled his calendar, looked nervous. The board has called an emergency meeting. They're demanding you attend immediately. Let them demand. Cade's hand was firm on Alara's back. I'll attend when I'm ready. Sir, they're saying if you don't come now, they'll invoke the emergency protocol to... To what? Remove me? His laugh was cold. They can try. I own 40% of this company outright. They'd need a 2/3 vote to override me, and they don't have the numbers. They might after this morning's developments. Something in her tone made Alara's stomach drop. What developments? Cade's voice had gone dangerously quiet. The assistant handed him a tablet with a news article pulled up. Thornwood CEO in scandal. Secret relationship with employee raises ethics questions. Below the headline were photos. Alara entering Cade's penthouse. The two of them at the gala. And, most damning, a shot of them in his car. Clearly intimate, taken through the tinted windows with a long-range lens. Who released this? Cade's voice was deadly calm. The article credits an anonymous source close to the company. But sir, there's more. She scrolled down. They're alleging that Alara manipulated her way into the position. That she used the mate bond to seduce you. That she's unqualified and that you're showing dangerous favoritism that's affecting business decisions. Every word was a knife. It's Vivienne, Alara said quietly. It has to be. Obviously. Cade was already pulling out his phone. Marcus, I need you in my office now. And get our legal team on the line. I want to know who leaked those photos and I want them destroyed. He hung up and turned to Alara, hands on her shoulders. This is what I was afraid of. They're going to try to tear you down. Make you look like the villain, but I won't let them. Maybe. She swallowed hard. Maybe I should step down. As your assistant, it would remove the conflict of interest angle. Absolutely not. His eyes flashed gold. You're not going anywhere. We don't negotiate with people who attack my mate. Cade, be realistic. If I stay, it gives them ammunition. If I step back, take a different position, or... No. The command in his voice was absolute. You are my mate, and my Luna. That means you stand beside me, not behind me. We face this together. Before she could respond, his office door burst open. Marcus rushed in, tablet in hand, looking panicked. We have a problem, a big one. The article? Worse than the article. Marcus pulled up financial documents. Someone's been moving money, large amounts, from company accounts. And the transactions are all authorized with your digital signature. Cade went very still. That's impossible. I haven't authorized any large transfers in the last month. I know, which means someone forged your authorization. And Cade... Marcus looked sick. The transactions all coincide with dates when Alara had access to your office and computer. The implication hung in the air like poison. You think I embezzled company funds? Alara's voice was ice. I don't think anything. I'm telling you what the board is going to think when they see this. Which they will, because it's going to be in their hands within the hour. Cade's jaw clenched. This is a setup, obviously. Obviously to us, but to the board? To the press? It looks like your new mate came in, seduced you, and stole $10 million from the company. 10 million. The number made Alara's head spin. Where did the money go? Cade was already pulling up his own financial systems. Offshore accounts, untraceable. But the IP addresses for the transactions trace back to Alara's work computer. It was brilliant, diabolical, and completely devastating. Vivian, Alara breathed. She had access to the building during the gala. She could have planted something on my computer. Could have. Prove it, Marcus said flatly. Because right now, all the evidence points to you. The office door opened again. This time it was security, with 2 board members behind them. Cade Thornwood, the board has voted to temporarily suspend your authority as CEO pending investigation into financial irregularities and conflicts of interest. The head of security looked apologetic, but firm. And Miss Stone, you're under arrest for embezzlement and corporate fraud. Like hell she is. Cade stepped between Alara and the security team, Wolf rising to the surface. You're not touching her. Sir, we have a warrant. This isn't optional. I don't care about your warrant. She's my mate, my Luna. You'll have to go through me to get to her. Cade, don't. Alara grabbed his arm, feeling his rage and protectiveness through the bond. Don't make this worse. How could it possibly be worse? You fighting them means you look complicit. Let me handle this. Let me prove my innocence. Alara. Trust me. She looked into his eyes, willing him to understand. I didn't do this. We both know that. So let me prove it the right way. Through lawyers and evidence and the legal system. Every instinct he had was screaming to protect her. She could feel it through the bond, but slowly, painfully, he stepped aside. If you hurt her, he told the security team quietly, if you so much as speak to her disrespectfully, I will end your careers and your lives. Are we clear? They nodded mutely. As they led Alara away in handcuffs on his mate, his Luna, Cade felt something inside him break. Through the bond, she sent him one final message. I love you. Don't do anything stupid. I'll be fine. But as the elevator doors closed on her frightened face, Cade knew one thing with absolute certainty. Someone had just made the worst mistake of their life, and he was going to make them pay for it. They questioned her for hours. The same questions, over and over. How did she access Cade's accounts? Where was the money? Who was she working with? Alara answered every question calmly. Consistently, truthfully. She had nothing to hide because she'd done nothing wrong. But the evidence against her was damning. Her computer logs, her keycard access, digital signatures that looked identical to her own. Even security footage that showed her in Cade's office at the exact times the transfers were made. Someone had been very, very thorough. Miss Stone, this will go much easier if you just confess. Detective Morrison leaned across the table. We have you cold. The evidence is overwhelming. But if you cooperate, tell us where the money is. We can work with the DA on a reduced sentence. I didn't do it. Then explain how all of this evidence points to you. I can't. Yet. But I will. She closed her eyes, reaching for the mate bond. Feeling Cade on the other end, furious, terrified, working frantically to free her. I'm okay. She sent through the bond. Focus on finding proof. I'm going to burn down everyone responsible for this, came his reply, raw with rage. Not yet. Smart first. Revenge later. His reluctant agreement echoed through the connection. The interrogation continued until her lawyer arrived, an older woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that promised blood. My client won't be answering any more questions without proper evidence review and discovery. Either charge her or release her. We're charging her, Morrison said flatly. Embezzlement, wire fraud, computer crimes. Bail will be set at $5 million. The number was designed to be impossible. Except within an hour, bail was posted. By Cade, obviously. When Alara walked out of the police station, he was waiting on the steps. The second he saw her, he moved, pulling her into his arms so tightly she could barely breathe. Are you okay? Did they hurt you? I'm fine. Scared, but fine. I'm going to fix this. His voice was rough against her hair. I swear to you, I'm going to find out who did this, and I'm going to destroy them. We need proof. Real proof, not just suspicions. I have my best people on it. IT forensics, private investigators. I've called in every favor I have. We'll find something. But as they drove back to his penthouse, because there was no way he was letting her out of his sight, Alara felt the first real stirrings of doubt. What if they couldn't prove her innocence? What if Vivian had been too careful, covered her tracks too well? What if this was how it ended, with Cade losing his company and her going to prison for crimes she didn't commit? Through the bond, Cade felt her fear spike. Hey! He pulled over abruptly, turning to face her. Look at me. She met his eyes. I don't care what happens. I don't care if I lose the company, the pack, everything. You are not going to prison. I will burn my entire world to the ground before I let that happen. Do you understand? You can't mean that. Try me. His hand cupped her face. You are my mate, my Luna, my entire world. Everything else is secondary. So we're going to fight this, and we're going to win, but even if we don't, even if the worst happens, you and I are together. Always. The absolute certainty in his voice broke something open inside her. She kissed him desperately, pouring every ounce of love and fear and gratitude into it. When they finally broke apart, his forehead rested against hers. We're going to survive this, he promised. Together. Alara couldn't sleep. She stood at the massive windows overlooking the city, wrapped in one of Cade's shirts, mind racing. Somewhere out there was proof of her innocence. There had to be. Vivian was smart, but everyone made mistakes. Think. What would she have missed? Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Usually she'd ignore it, but something made her answer. Hello? Miss Stone? A woman's voice, nervous. You don't know me. My name is Claire. I work in IT at Thornwood Industries. Alara's pulse quickened. Go on. I think I found something that might help you. But I'm scared. If I come forward, if they know I helped you. What did you find? There's a ghost partition on your work computer. Someone created a hidden administrator account that piggybacks on your credentials. It's sophisticated, would take a forensics expert to find. But it's there, and I have logs showing when it was created. Hope flared. When? The night of the Ashcroft Gala, while everyone was at the event, someone physically accessed your computer and installed the back door. Can you prove who? The building security footage from that night was conveniently corrupted, but I pulled the keycard logs. Only 3 people accessed the IT floor that night. You, Mr. Thornwood, and Vivian Ashcroft. There it was. Claire, I need you to document everything. Make copies. Send them to my lawyer and to Cade's private investigator. Can you do that? Already done. But Miss Stone? I'm leaving town tomorrow. I have a family. If Vivian finds out I helped you, she won't, I promise, and thank you. You might have just saved my life. The call ended. Alara turned to find Cade standing in the bedroom doorway, clearly awakened by her conversation. We have her, she breathed. We finally have her. The boardroom was packed. Every board member, the company's legal team, Vivian and her father. Press waiting outside for a statement. This was it. Make or break. Cade stood at the head of the table, Alara beside him despite the protests that she shouldn't be allowed in the room. You called this meeting to discuss my temporary suspension and the charges against my mate, Cade said coldly. So let's discuss. There's nothing to discuss, Richard, the board chairman, replied. The evidence is overwhelming. Miss Stone embezzled $10 million using unauthorized access to your accounts. The board has voted to remove you from your position and, based on fabricated evidence. Cade's voice cut through the room like a blade. Evidence planted by someone with motive and access to do exactly that. That's a serious accusation, Vivian's father said smoothly. Do you have proof? As a matter of fact, I do. Cade nodded to Marcus, who pulled up files on the main screen. IT forensics discovered a ghost partition on Miss Stone's computer. Created the night of the Ashcroft Gala. The same night security footage was mysteriously corrupted. Murmurs around the table. Key card logs show only 3 people accessed that floor that night. Marcus continued. Cade, Alara, and Vivian Ashcroft. All eyes turned to Vivian. She was good. Her expression barely flickered. That proves nothing. I had legitimate business reasons to be in that area. At midnight, when the gala you were hosting was still ongoing? Cade's smile was sharp. Interesting timing. This is circumstantial at best. Then let's talk about your phone records. Marcus pulled up another document. 3 calls to known cybercriminals in the week leading up to the gala. Payments made from an offshore account registered to a shell company your father controls. And security footage from a different camera angle, one you didn't know existed, showing you entering and leaving the IT floor with a USB drive. The room exploded. Vivian's face went white. You can't prove. We can prove all of it. Cade leaned forward. You framed my mate because you couldn't stand that I chose her over you. You manipulated evidence, bribed officials, and attempted to destroy an innocent woman's life. And now you're going to pay for it. You have no idea what you've done, Vivian hissed, mask finally cracking. I could have made you a king, given you connections and power beyond anything she gestured dismissively at Alara, could ever provide. But you threw it all away for some nobody Omega with delusions of grandeur. That nobody Omega is worth 1,000 of you. Cade's voice was lethal. And she's about to watch you lose everything. Security was already moving toward Vivian. The board votes to reinstate Cade Thornwood as CEO, Richard announced, looking shaken, and to press full charges against Vivian Ashcroft for fraud, embezzlement, and corporate espionage. As they led Vivian away, her father following in disgrace, she locked eyes with Alara one final time. "This isn't over," she mouthed. But it was. 3 weeks later, under a perfect full moon, the pack gathered for Alara's official Luna ceremony. She stood before hundreds of wolves, Cade's pack, wearing a traditional white ceremonial dress, the claiming mark on her neck visible and proud. Cade stood beside her in formal alpha attire, looking every inch the powerful leader he was. "You've all heard the stories by now," he addressed the pack, voice carrying to every corner of the clearing. "How Alara came into my life. How she was framed and nearly destroyed by someone's jealousy and greed. How she fought back with courage and grace." The pack listened intently. "What you may not know is why I chose her as my Luna, beyond the mate bond, beyond fate's decree." He turned to look at Alara, love clear in his eyes. "I chose her because when the world tried to crush her, she didn't break. When people told her she wasn't good enough, wasn't strong enough, wasn't worthy, she proved them all wrong. She is fierce, intelligent, compassionate, and unbreakably strong. Exactly what this pack needs." Murmurs of approval rippled through the crowd. "So I ask you now, will you accept Alara Stone as your Luna? Will you follow her, respect her, and protect her as you would protect me?" The response was unanimous. A howl that started with one wolf and spread until the entire pack was singing their acceptance to the moon. Tears streamed down Alara's face as she felt the pack bonds snap into place. Hundreds of connections, each one recognizing her as their Luna. The elder stepped forward with the ceremonial blade. "Your blood and his, mixed and offered to the moon," she intoned. "Binding Alpha and Luna, binding pack and leader. Do you accept this bond, Alara Stone?" "I do." The blade cut, quick and clean, across her palm and then Cade's. They pressed their hands together, blood mingling, power surging between them. The pack howled again, and this time Alara threw her head back and howled with them. She was home. Finally, completely home. Alara woke to sunlight streaming through the windows, and Cade's arm wrapped possessively around her waist. 6 months since the Luna ceremony. 6 months of learning to lead the pack alongside him. 6 months of being utterly, completely happy. "You're thinking too loud," Cade mumbled against her neck, still half asleep. "It's Saturday. No thinking aloud." She laughed, turning in his arms. "I was thinking about how much has changed. Good changes? The best changes." She kissed him softly. "I have a pack, a purpose, a mate who loves me more than I ever thought possible. I went from unemployed and alone to Luna of one of the strongest packs in the country. It's surreal sometimes. You earned every bit of it." His hand came up to cup her face. "You know that, right? This isn't luck or fate handing you things. You fought for this, proved yourself, became exactly who you were always meant to be. We both did. Together. Together," he agreed, pulling her closer. Through the bond, she felt his contentment, his absolute certainty that they, were right. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you more." "Not possible. Want to bet?" His kiss turned heated, playful, full of promise. Outside, the city was waking up. The pack was going about their lives. Thornwood Industries was thriving under their joint leadership. And in this penthouse, wrapped in each other, Alara Stone, Luna of the Thornwood pack, mate to Alpha Cade Thornwood, was exactly where she belonged. The rejection she'd feared had never come. Instead, she'd found something infinitely better. A love worth fighting for. A strength she didn't know she had. And a future brighter than any destiny fate could have written. And that's how Alara Stone went from nobody to Luna. From rejected and broken to fierce and beloved. Her story didn't end with a rejection. It ended with a choice. Her choice. To fight. To love. to become more than anyone ever expected. Because sometimes the greatest love stories aren't about fate forcing two people together. They're about two people choosing each other. Despite every obstacle, despite every person telling them it's wrong, despite the entire world trying to tear them apart. If you loved Alara and Cade's story, hit that like button right now and subscribe to Alpha Wolf Romance Library for more fated mate stories that will make your heart race and your soul soar. Drop a comment telling me, would you have taken Cade's deal? Would you have trusted him enough to fake a relationship with your actual fated mate? I want to hear your thoughts. And if you want more werewolf shifter romance, more possessive alphas, more fierce heroines, more mate bonds that can't be denied, check out the next video on your screen. Because trust me, you're going to want to hear what happens when an alpha rejects his mate, and she comes back stronger than he ever imagined. Until next time, this is the Alpha's Romance Library reminding you, you are worthy of a love that fights for you. Always.